This time on Kawaii-Fi Radio, a wager is made.
Kawaii-Fi bets.
I will bet one Pocky.
As in a single Pocky or like a packet of Pocky?
Have you seen how much Pocky I have left after Hoshicon? Please help. A Neon Genesis spin-off gets critiqued.
Shinji actually smiles in it.
That's unnatural.
Like there's one panel where he's smiling. I'm like, you're not Shinji. Who are you?
And The Devil is a Part-Timer has us thinking about fast food.
I just want to get a brown sugar boba McFlurry.
Go to Asia.
Yeah, sure. just jump on a plane.
It's only like a 5-day swim.
Ava launch! Tetsuo! Kaneda!
Oni-chan?
It's over 9,000! Nani?
Configure the language logic interface for Japanese.
Kawaii-Fi.
Kawaii-Fi.
Kawaii-Fi
Radio!
Konnichiwa and welcome. You tuned into Kawaii-Fi Radio, the podcast we dive in the world of anime and manga. I'm Kyle, and joining me are my co-hosts Aaron, Kenny, and Tifa, also known as the COVID-3. No.
You're next.
No, I'm very happy you're all back and you're all recovered.
Yeah.
Ooh.
For the most part.
Yes.
I'm going to use another week off.
Oh, a week is...
Someone give me COVID again.
Yeah, round two, ding ding.
Now that we have you all back together, it means we can do a big episode. And we've been discussing this for a while. The spring season is almost over. And while there's still plenty to talk about from this season, we'll get into that next episode, there's something returning next season that we really do need to talk about.
That one of our Patreons suggested to us.
And people on our Discord as well.
Ah.
The Devil is a Part-Timer is returning to our screens next month. So it's 9 years after season 1 finished its run. Literally, exactly 9 years after the first season finished.
I was
the
gonna
week
say.
after, it starts. So...
Kind of a massive time jump. Are they going to address that, or is it just going to be continuing on as if nothing happened?
To be honest, I'd put money on them either making a joke in it in the dub, but I don't think they will in the Japanese version. But the key question is it worth catching up on this series before the second season airs? So stay tuned to us to find out, and we'll go through all that. Now, if you are new to the podcast, hello, welcome. Make sure you find us over on YouTube as well for our monthly anime videos, and join us over on socials. Details are down in the episode description.
Push algorithm-friendly buttons.
Yes.
It's free.
Smash like button thing.
Smash that button.
Yeah. Has that just died on YouTube altogether? All right, let's get stuck in with what we've been watching.
I have no idea how old I am or where I came from.
Daddy! Ohayo!
Hang time! I gotta go!
I have to know! Hooray! I did the thing!
Oni-chan, nani wo miru? What we're watching. Tifa, we have an important question. Why are you rewatching Bleach?
And not drinking it, because that sounds easier.
More fun too. Look, in all honesty, no offense to the fans of Bleach, the filler's just a bit too much for me. So why are you heading back down this rabbit hole?
Well, the next, or I guess last season of Bleach, a continuation of the anime, is coming out in October, which is really interesting because it technically finished so long ago, and now they're doing the final arc in October as an anime, which I thought was really interesting, and I felt like I don't remember much of what happens in Bleach, I'm not gonna lie, even though I was a big fan of Bleach growing up. So I went back and watched the anime.
I mean, it's like, going back to watch through Naruto or One Piece. It's one of
I've done
those big juggernaut animes. It's full of characters and lore and stuff like that. So it's just like, I have to go through all that again.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I'm still plowing my way through Shippuden.
Oh my god.
It's been years.
I've told you the easiest way to get through it, man. Just play the games.
I know.
Honestly, yeah.
I've got them all. Come over. We'll make a day of it. We could probably smash them all out in a day.
That's true.
That's true, you could.
Because
How
I
many
am
players
a
can you
pro
co-op
at it.
with?
Oh, you can't co-op.
Balls.
It's a story.
Unless you're playing the new Shinobi Strikers game, which has been out for 4 or 5 years now. But it's free on PS Plus this month.
This podcast is brought to you by PlayStation Plus.
Yes, the new Grand tier, where we'll offer you PlayStation games that won't work on your system just yet.
See, that's only in the northern hemisphere that they've got that, so we're cool.
We're good for now. Yes. Okay. Well, how is it holding up?
Well, so I realized when I went back to watch it that I didn't really watch the anime. So growing up, I was a fan of the manga. I watched like the first season, and here in Australia, obviously during that time, anime didn't continuously get aired on TV or anything like that, and it was really hard to find in stores as well. So my best bet was kind of reading the manga. Even if you tried to watch it on YouTube, it was just a hassle, especially back then. And Australia has like the worst internet in the world.
Well, we're not the worst in the world, but we're not up there.
No, yeah.
Yeah, Romania is still better than us.
Yes.
Well, I mean, we're sitting here going, I can't even get a single gigabyte connection on my internet. But Japan's like, hey, we just did a terabyte connection. How's that going for you?
What the hell?
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
All the quicker to get your anime to you.
They're sending it out fast, but we're like that kid at the very back of the baseball field who can't see anything and the ball's up in the sun. We're like, we got this!
So the key question is, Tifa, would you recommend rewatching Bleach? I think that pause says it all.
Okay, look, I love Bleach, but because I was a fan of the manga and the anime is so filled with filler and things that just don't happen in the manga, and it's just not very concise at all, I feel like if you want to kind of find out what happened in Bleach so you can talk about this new season that's coming out in October, just read the manga. It'll be so much faster as well.
Yeah, I think you were saying earlier that
Yeah.
they will like include characters from the filler
Yeah.
and then keep them around in the stuff that isn't filler.
Yeah. And they're
That
like...
is bonkers.
It is, and they're just like not in the manga. So when I went to go watch the anime, I was like, oh,
Who are you?
okay.
I guess
But
they're important in this story?
Yeah.
Don't you
No.
usually hang around like Urahara's shop or whatever that dude's
Yeah,
name is?
yeah.
It's not Urahara. It's,
It is, yeah.
Is it?
Kisuke
Yeah.
Urahara. I had
Yeah.
his hat.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought I was saying a Star Trek.
No, that's Uhara.
Same thing.
Okay, cool.
Uhura, you
Bleach
non-nerd.
is on
It's on Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll. Yeah. I was just like, what's the orange one?
The orange one,
I
yeah,
haven't
it's
had
on
coffee today.
Crunchyroll,
This is
yeah.
going to be
That's
fantastic.
Naruto, yes.
That's Naruto, yes.
Totte
No. Alrighty. Well, Bleach, more fun than drinking it. Kenny, your boy Kongming.
is so good.
Yeah.
It's very, very just relaxed, but so bloody funny as well. Basic kind of story. One of the generals from the Romances of the Three Kingdoms period in Chinese history, he dies and is resurrected into the middle of modern day Tokyo. He believes it to be hell, naturally,
Because he gets resurrected during Halloween.
and into modern day times.
And in Akihabara? Was it Akihabara?
Why are you looking at me? I got no idea. I'm not the one
I
watching
can't
it.
remember. Well, look, it was either Akihabara, Ikebukuro, or
Ikebukuro, yes.
Oh yeah.
And he sort of crews up with this young woman who wants to become, a famous singer. And he starts putting his knowledge of military tactics to work to make her famous. Strangely, it is effective.
And hilarious. We mentioned it last episode very briefly, but it is a series which comes across as a music anime, but it's not like Love Live or what was the other big one?
Yeah, it's not like an idol anime.
Idolmaster?
The music doesn't overstay its welcome. It features, but it's more like something to just sort of exemplify the rest of the anime happening around
It's
it.
even more subtle than Carol and Tuesday was with its musical use. So it's got it. Well, so far from what I've seen in the first few episodes I've watched, it's a good balance, which is really nice. But yeah. All right. Well,
Highly recommend.
I'm gonna go on a complete different tangent and go to Disney Plus
Why would you do that?
because it's the only place for some reason you can watch summertime rendering.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's-
It is one of the strangest deals I've ever seen.
Disney did say that they wanted to push into the anime market, so
They
yeah,
did.
that checks
So-
out.
Is that because it's on like Hulu in America?
Don't know.
Could be. I
Don't know.
think Disney owns them too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anything that's on Hulu in America, we get on Disney Plus here.
Which is why Orville's on Disney Plus.
Oh,
Seriously?
Yep.
that checks out. Okay, that's a weird right sharing agreement, but let's just go with that. Summertime rendering, awesome. So this is a story basically set on an island where the island has an old myth about shadows who take the place of other human beings. And if you see your shadow, you are likely to die with it taking your place later in time. It's a time loop, but the time loop is not consistent. He will not always come back to the same time. Think of ReZero, where he keeps every now and then he'll be looping back to the same point, and then it'll jump ahead to a different point where he loops back to. This one, it seems like every time he loops back, the time he loops back to moves forward 15 minutes. So he won't be able to fix that last bit if there was something he could have done during it.
That adds a whole hard mode modifier to the time loop.
And the shadows are a real thing, and they are replacing people and killing them fairly brutally. And there's also a lady from the island who becomes quite important during the story. I'm not going to give too much on her because it takes you a few episodes to realize she's actually important, but she's come back to the island. So the main character has come back to the island after being away for a long time because one of his childhood friends died, and it's for the funeral. So there's quite a few people who have known this girl who have come back for the funeral, and this other woman is one of the people of interest in this series who has come back for it, and she's aware of the whole shadow situation, is here for that purpose.
So it's like Shadow's House meets that murder one with the time loop.
Yeah, when they cry.
Yes,
Higurashi. It's got Higurashi vibes, but it's not as gruesomely violent. Would probably be the best way to explain it. So it's not as confronting or psychotic would probably be the best way to word it.
Psychotic's a good way.
There is a lot of psychological stuff in this, but it's not to the point of people going absolutely insane or anything, at least in the 8 episodes I've watched so far. So, but it's been really good. Animation is top notch, like really good. Voice acting, really good. Character designs, really good. And even when there's been a couple of occasional points of fan service where you see one of the girls' knickers, there's actually a reason for it that's used as part of the plot, as opposed to it just being blatant thing, because it's later used to determine when her clone was made.
Oh, so it's like in Metal Gear Solid when you watch that girl walk away and she's wiggling her butt, and then later on you see her walking and she's not wiggling her butt, and you know that it's not actually her.
Bingo. But basically exactly that. By using character traits or small little details you would otherwise not notice, they're trying to piece together who is the starting shadow that is creating all these other shadows and replacing people. And then by figuring out, it's not obviously a nice way to go like that, but it is something that those two characters would only know about each other at that point in time. And it's just like a bike accident, classic. Someone tumbles over and they see and blah blah blah. But yeah, Summertime Rendering, check it out. It's good. Now let's go to the pages of literature.
Yes, Aaron's been reading. I have mental capacity.
It's lovely. I don't have any of the awards things on here. I've got like a big crowd button where they're like, yeah!
Aaron can read. It's a miracle.
Or that creepy warped version of congratulations.
Congratulations!
All right, I'll stop that. So, what have you been reading?
Neon Genesis Campus Apocalypse.
Congratulations!
Congratulations, Aaron. You read the title off of the book. That's it.
Good job.
So this is one of Neon Genesis' many spin-offs.
Yes.
I started reading this when I saw it online, 5-10 years ago. I spotted
There's only 4 books.
Is there?
Yes.
So it was quite a short run.
It was an extremely short run, and I'm so mad about it.
Oh, okay. First things first. Is it good?
Yes.
Is the story good?
The story is amazing.
Is the ending disappointing?
Yes.
Okay. Does it feel like it's been rushed and cancelled?
Yes.
Okay. Bugger.
It's like they did all this work building it up and establishing characters, and the way the angels work is they have angel cores and they insert them into humans, and then they inhabit that human's body.
Oh.
Yeah. And
like what they did with Unit 4, Unit 3, where they took it over, and
Yep.
Oh.
And then the Ava units are also cores that get inserted into the kids, and then they manifest as weapons.
Shinji's Ava's a gun.
Shinji's got a gun. Asuka's got a whip. Rei has a scythe, and Kaoru has a giant pair of scissors. Don't run with scissors, kids.
Okay. First things first. Does this require a graphic content warning?
No.
No? So there's no, like, dismemberment or anything like that? Okay, cool.
There's one scene where they get pretty roughed up by an angel, but then the next scene they're fine and they sort of explain it as well.
Cool.
Towards the end. But it's so weird because Shinji actually smiles in it.
Okay.
That's unnatural.
Like, there's one panel where he's smiling and he's holding his Ava, and I'm like, I don't, you're not Shinji. Who are you?
Shadows. Shinji, you're not allowed to smile. It's not okay, bro.
But basically, they explain it as all of the kids who can manifest Avas were experiments.
So kind of the same as the original series, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why none of them have any parents. And then
Wait, so
Shinji's been raised away from his dad with that guy.
yeah, the grandpa dude.
No, not the grandpa dude. The guy who likes Masato.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And he's also
Okay.
a reporter, so he does a lot of
So he's a
media stuff.
reporter instead of being a double agent for Nerve and NASA.
Well, he used to work for the secret company of Nerve, but then he went to become a reporter, but he's sort of been feeding that information to other people. So kind of technically still the same. Anyway, so Shinji lived with him
Yeah.
because they thought that his parents died in a lab fire. But it turns out Shinji's dad survived and he sees him and he's like, oh, something's weird about dad. And like it becomes a whole plot point. And it's,
Dad sus.
Yeah. Which, I mean, let's be real.
Yeah. Worst dad in the universe.
But basically, the plot is Yggdrasil was relying heavily on Kaoru as the support, but he came out when they sort of opened when Shinji's mum sort of opened it, and they had to rush and put her in instead.
Okay.
And so all the angels have come loose, and now Yggdrasil can't support itself. And they're running out of time, and they're like, oh no, what are we going to do? And they're starting to get to the point where they're like, maybe we'll just have to shove Shinji in and buy ourselves some more time. And Gendo's like, yes, give me back my wife.
I mean, okay, cool. What's Yggdrasil in this setting? Because obviously that name's based off the traditional Tree of Life.
The Tree of Life,
Is
yeah.
it like a physical construct that they have, or?
Yes. Basically, it's deep in one of the labs, and I'm pretty sure it is a tree because you see all the roots and stuff. Of
Oh,
it,
okay,
so-
cool. Alrighty. Well, that's Campus Apocalypse. That's at all good book retailers that stock Neon Genesis.
Or if you've got somebody really sweet who does a care package drop off for you.
Yeah, well, you got COVID. What have you been watching this fortnight? Let us know over on Instagram or in the comment section on YouTube. But that does mean that we need to actually talk about what we're actually talking about this episode, which is Devil is a Part-Timer.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
I think I watched that as a kid.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Back Catalogue.
Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do.
I miss God of High School, man.
I do too. I've heard bad things about the rest
Where
of the
it goes
story.
from there,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a bit of a shame.
There's just so many animes that fail to stick the landing.
Yeah. Now let's talk about Devil as a Part-Timer. Because this is coming back in literally 2 weeks' time as part of the new anime
I thought
season.
it was July 14th that came back.
Yeah, that's 4 weeks'
a
time.
Yeah.
4 weeks' time. So it's a month away. So you got time.
Wait, was it the 14th or the 15th?
14th.
14th. Oh, damn, that's my son's birthday.
So, Devil as Part-Timer was produced by White Fox. You might recognize them from Steins Gate, ReZero, Arifureta, Akami ga Kill. So, it's based on a light novel series which ran from 2011 to 2020 and ran for 21 volumes. Now, you might notice that it's only 2 years between the light novel starting and the first anime season of it, which explains probably why we've had such a big gap. They needed time to actually get stuff together. But that means the guy was releasing 2 volumes a year. So, comedy, fantasy, romance, supernatural. It includes the word Satan. So,
It includes a lot of
Religious
language
warning?
from the biblical thing, but here's the thing. It really doesn't play too much into the actual
Yeah.
plot
No.
of those kind of characters from their original. It's very much their own story. It just takes you out of a bit where it's like, Satan, let's go to the bathhouse. What?
Yeah.
so
Wait, you don't hear that regularly?
No. So, synopsis: in the world of Ente Isla, the demon lord Satan has attempted to conquer humanity using an enormous army of demons. But when he almost succeeds, mankind's champion, the hero Amelia, thwarts his plans, forcing him to retreat into a portal that leads to a world unbeknownst to him. Along with his faithful servant Alziel, Satan stumbles upon the modern-day city of Tokyo without any knowledge of the world itself, and completely out of their depth, they gain some information from a police officer, but Satan still has one more problem: money. In order to survive with his greatly diminished powers, he guises himself as a human named Sado Mao, lives in an apartment, and becomes a part-timer at the fast food restaurant McDonald's. Oh, I wonder what that's based on.
KFC.
That shows up later. Determined not to only conquer Ente Isle, but now also Earth, Sado strives to become a full-time employee in his job, as he believes that it would be a step forward in his conquests. Things begin looking up for the once all-powerful demon as he ventures through his everyday life, his job, his home, and his relationships. However, a major setback pops up when Amelia, the hero who drove him out of Ente Isle, suddenly appears.
Except she's also in the same position he is.
Well,
She works at a call center.
yes and no. Like, she purposely followed him to
Yeah.
thingy him, but it's also like...
But she's also limited in her powers the same way
Yeah.
he kind of is.
Can I just say, like, so this isn't really a spoiler, but later in the series, more characters are introduced, and one of them is the classic scientist-type character, and decides the best way to give Amelia her powers back is to basically send her care packages of what is equivalently Red Bull.
Yeah. Fantasy Red Bull.
Fantasy Red Bull. And it's like, make sure no one else drinks this. It might hurt them. It's chock full of magical energy.
You might get the heart palpies.
Yeah. Now, it's one of the early Funimation dubs.
I mean, its original run in Japan was 2011, I think.
No, 2013.
2013.
Yep. We got it same year, and it was one of the ones that Funimation really pushed big that year, so it had a dub
a lot of
almost
people were
immediately.
talking about it. It was like on a lot of people's list. I've been told to watch it for decades.
Yeah, surprisingly, in Japan, before it came out, there was no hype for that series itself. They said that it was one of the most underrated series because in Japan, nobody was really looking forward to it. There wasn't as much publicity around it. But when it came out, people thought it was quite interesting, and it actually gained such a huge international audience as well, which is what they were not expecting. So.
Well, that's the thing. It feels very, very contemporary.
Yeah, it does.
It feels like it's looking back in time at a completely different sort of way of thinking and stuff like
as you
that.
rightly said, the dub is a time capsule.
Oh, the dub especially. It makes references to, in the first episode, it makes references to Super Size Me.
Yeah, the
very old
documentary on
about
eating McDonald's.
Yeah, it's just okay.
McDonald.
You have,
McDonald's.
I'm sorry, we're probably going to get struck for that. For even mentioning the dark ones.
No, it's all right. One of my other projects that I'm working with is currently sponsored by McDonald's, which is hilarious. And the lady who does it is absolutely wonderful. It's just I was not expecting this. It's great.
Is that the IBS one?
No.
That's not the poop one.
No, what? So I do another
explanation.
I produce another podcast for a lady who's a personal mentor, and one of the people we had on, she runs a company called Noisy Guts, which basically made a device to put over your stomach to listen to your stomach noises to help, instead of doing invasive surgery to figure out what your IBS issue might be, was to kind of give a better understanding of what the stomach was doing when it was eating certain foods and different FODMAPs. And it's all sciencey stuff, but she loves pointing out that unfortunately she's now been known as the poo lady because she's constantly talking about poop because of IBS.
We should talk less about poop and more about McDonald's making you poop.
But
See,
yeah,
that would
the
have been
person
great for a McDonald's sponsor.
But McDonald's is the sponsor for that season of that podcast for my client. So yeah. Anyway,
Back to anime.
Back to McDonald's. They still don't have a proper McFlurry machine, and it annoys me. McDonald's, not McDonald's.
I just want to get a brown sugar boba McFlurry.
Why?
Go to Asia.
Yeah, sure.
Just jump on a plane.
It's only like a 5-day swim.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Do that? Yeah, that's fine.
I would die.
Okay, so back to Devil is a Part-Timer. Devil of Part-Timer has a massive cult following, as you rightly pointed out, internationally. It's become huge. People have been so obsessed with it for years that, as you told us in the pre-show episode, there's even voice-acted versions of the story from the light novels that have been done by fans online because they're so impatient waiting for this new season to come. And I understand, it's 9 years now. So it better be good.
Yeah.
That's basically what I'm getting at.
Well, like, I've seen a lot of, like, top 10 animes with overpowered main characters that don't use their powers, and, like, it's always number one.
Are there many lists like that?
Yes.
I mean, there are dedicated YouTube channels to it.
That is
And
true.
TikToks and just everywhere you go on media. Instagram's got them as well.
I mean, that's the thing. This was one of those sort of like pioneer isekai animes. This was
More
one of-
reverse isekai, yeah.
Yeah, especially at the time, I feel like there wasn't as many of those around, and this was kind of like the most popular one.
Oh, yeah.
That was a reverse isekai.
That was like, it was very new for that kind of a genre. I don't think I can even remember any other ones.
At the time, there definitely wasn't, and that's part of what I think made it so big.
Was that its whole novelty value? Yeah.
Now, this comes from a light novel. Those light novels finished in 2020. 2020? 2021.
Wow.
2021. With 2020 with 21 volumes.
Tongue
Words,
twister.
I'll be good at them.
Twink,
One
twink,
day.
twink, 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 twink.
The light novel's ending seems to be immensely disliked online.
Oh, that sucks.
And I mean, comparisons to Domestic Girlfriend's ending have
Oh,
been
that
brought up
sucks.
in recent reviews, and many saying the series reverses character development for the sake of wrapping up the story.
Oh, geez. I can't relate to something like that happening in something I enjoy.
Yeah, no. So, this is the one time I'm probably going to say this, but can we please get a Promised Neverland Season 2 version of this?
Oh,
Just,
It never
I
is?
can't believe you said that.
no. Just wrap the whole thing
ears are
up.
bleeding.
You got the Season 2, and you're going to get it all at once.
But with that PowerPoint style still frame ending.
No, not PowerPoint. No,
that was
not that
season
ending.
2.
What I'm saying is that they can cut out a lot of the filler because from what I've read, there's a lot of filler in there interspersed with character development, and the character development's the important point in these stories. So
Naturally.
what they can do is cherry pick just the good bits, like what they're going to be doing with the remake of Lum's series, the green-haired demon girl,
yeah.
Yatsura.
Would I say Yatsura?
Yeah, that's the one. Thank you.
Very intrigued for that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm hoping for, because apparently there's a lot of stuff, while it's entertaining to read, there's a lot of stuff in there that you could take out and you wouldn't lose the core of the story. It's sort of similar to how we had with Horimiya's the last few episodes of Horimiya, condensed about 50 chapters into that to go only the creme de la creme, because it was the community calls it the nuclear winter for good reason. The winter part of their school year,
Yeah,
nothing
that's
happens
true,
for
yeah.
ages.
Well, what they could do is they could pick the parts that match the ending. Mm-hmm. So then that way there's not that character development that gets like flipped on it.
Exactly.
Instead of
That's
just
true.
picking the best bits. Because if they pick the best bits, then that definitely is going to be like a really bad ending.
I mean, it does sound like romance solution becomes the end game eventually.
Okay.
So
okay,
it's
but who's the romance solution?
That's
My
true.
money's
There's a
on
few
Al. I
build-ups.
want Al.
Oh,
Al.
He's been by his side all this time.
It has.
And he
There's
has cool hair.
apparently a sequel sequel light novel series in the works, and also a side story light novel series in the works.
Better late than never, I guess.
Well, considering the light novel finished 2 years ago, he's probably doing the planning and getting it good to go.
All right.
But let's focus back on the anime. So it's 2021 at the time of 2022 at the time of recording this episode.
What year is it?
Look, man, I've been indoors for so long. No, so it's 2022.
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey
It's
stuff.
been 9 years since the original came out. This anime came out. The sequel's coming out. Does the animation still hold up today?
Yes.
You reckon they'll stick to the same style?
I don't know what they're going to do. We don't even know what studio it is yet.
I had a question about that as well, because I read last year that Netflix were the ones that picked it up, and that's why it's getting another season. But I don't know if that ended up being true or
I
not.
heard that as well.
Yeah.
I will Google that.
But see, that's while you're Googling that, that's the other thing that sort of worries me. I mean, this was set and made like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And not only technology, but certain ideas and values have changed. It's just sort of like, is it going to feel like it's
The same?
dated and
Yeah.
from the past still, or are they going to try and...
Modernize it to today or something. Yeah.
that's-
It's hard to know, isn't it?
It really
And
is.
we gonna
Netflix
get-
will do whatever they want, so like you might get a completely different ending as well.
I just
Or
want more
live action.
boneless burgers. More boneless burgers.
Okay.
Sequel to Bob's Burgers.
That's actually not bad. I've been watching that.
Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
I love Bob's Burgers.
Have
The
you
movie
seen the
came
movie?
out. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
but
I saw the early screening of it. Yeah.
I've seen bits of it and it was odd.
I've seen
I don't
every
know if I
episode.
hate it or like it.
Well, the odd is its charm.
Okay.
Definitely. Like, it's not something you can go into and be like, oh, yeah, I'm expecting like a regular sort of.
Yeah.
No, it's like a failing family sitcom.
Like failing family sitcom.
Okay, as in the family's failing.
Yeah,
Like, they're barely
don't have,
holding
like,
everything together.
Fair enough.
You know,
The
like,
business isn't doing the greatest. They're all a little bit weird.
and they're all really tense and like.
So you,
Kids probably have some sort of like autism or something that's just
Or
not
a lot of
discussed.
trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, I can let you know it's not on Netflix.
Okay.
It's on Disney Plus in Japan. I know.
Hey,
See
yo,
what I mean?
what's up?
See what I mean about them getting in the anime game? You were right.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
I really
So-
would rather they didn't.
Let's have a look. What studio have we got?
Well, I
Did
mean,
they fight
Disney.
over it? Was it like a bidding war for who got it? I don't know.
Maybe.
Studio 3 Hertz are doing it instead of White Fox.
Are they okay?
Oh.
Oh, bro. Art style is definitely a little bit different. Studio 3 Hertz did Attack on Titans in between animations for season 2 and the movie.
Oh.
Animation production. Black Fox's movie, which was quite good.
It was.
Dimension W, Flip Flappers,
Oh, okay.
Healer Girl.
Oh, neat.
This season's Healer Girl.
So-
Princess Principal.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's not massive. It looks like they previously did a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Like they were second key animation in between animations on Show by Rock and animation production for sort of online alternative Gun Gale Online.
Okay.
And yeah, it looks like they're primarily an assistant studio, but every now and then do their own in-house stuff. So look, I'm interested to see how they handle it because their stuff generally has been quite good. The style, as you can see for the characters here, this is the latest
Oh, yes,
one.
I did
It
see
definitely
that,
has
yeah.
been updated.
But I don't think it looks bad.
I don't think it
Hair
looks
looks
bad.
perfect.
It does.
Updating isn't always a bad thing.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely not saying it is. I do think that the dub has aged poorly.
Yeah, but I think you'll
Because
find that with
all
all
of
of
them.
You can
watch
say
the
that about
dubs.
most old dubs.
Yeah,
Yeah, it varies. I think there was no offense to Funimation, rest in peace. But there was a period there where all male voices were the same, and there's a lot of male characters in this, and they do kind of all sound the same.
I also feel like they tried to really push into that international audience by trying to make so many relative like little references and stuff like that
Yeah.
instead of just keeping to what the main storyline is, because people will watch it even if it doesn't have that. It doesn't need to be about America or like
Yeah.
things happening there. It can be about other places and people will actually go and watch that. But I feel like at the time they felt like they really needed to push more of that so the international audience would watch it.
Yeah, and this is from the era where, I mean, it's towards the end of that era where Funimation was really kind of being a little bit loose on their dub translation. And then they did get a fair bit of backlash on it and then started making things a bit more accurate, and then they, again, misstepped and got slapped hard for it.
It's a very fine line you have to walk.
Well, I mean, it's quite simple. Stick to the script.
Yeah, but you can't stick to it too heavily.
No, but like, don't put in references where they're not needed just for the sake of it, you know? Like, it's like the difference between like what Tiffany Grant was saying when we interviewed her about like, no, Oscar says, you're an idiot, aren't you, Shinji? As opposed to just saying, you know, you're an, what was it? You're not very smart. Which would be the literal translation. It's like there is a point where creative change is good, but once you go past that, it can be problematic because it reduces the relatability.
Okay.
So I think there's a balance there to be
can
found.
supremely date a product as well.
Exactly.
I think also, what was it? Dragon Maid had a bit of that going
Well,
on.
that's the other big contention because they put in something about patriarchy and something else in there, like you know. None of our business, but it's like that's not
relevant
what it said
To
to what
what's
was said.
happening,
Like,
yeah.
if you're going to translate it, be accurate, and the only changes you should be making, at least in my opinion, are ones that enhance the story, not
Yeah.
ones that push agendas or try and make it relatable.
Yeah, just like to make it make sense instead of
Yeah.
like literal, like because
Well, yeah,
their
yeah.
grammar is different from our grammar and stuff like
and
that. as well.
there's going to be story references we don't understand. Like, not Ride Your Wave, Wave Listen to Me has references to some really hilarious stuff in Japanese, which they translated and changed them to the American equivalent in the right way. So she's talking, the main character, she goes into the radio, she's talking about how, hey, this seems a little bit dodgy. It seems like that book where that guy, hires a woman after he's destroyed her life and blah, 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 blah. And that's the plot of the book. So they found an American counterpart which had a similar story and used that in that place as well. That's the right way to do it. You don't then go and change it and go... completely change that sentence and her going, you're just trying to take advantage of me. You're patriarchy. It's like, no, follow the script and adapt it where it needs to be adapted, where it's supported and accurate.
Either that or go full ghost stories.
I mean, yeah, but that you're not allowed to do that.
Okay, but dating with some references is good. Like, if we could get Tiffany Grant to say, you're a sussy barker, Shinji, I would love that.
He needs to be ejected, Shinji.
Do we still have her number? Can we hit her up?
Look, if we hit up Tiffany Grant, it's going to be for whatever her next project is, and we'll see how that goes. But I
wonder if she's on Cameo.
But I would like to have her back on to do. I think it'd be really good to get her on for an actual podcast episode instead of just a video. And see what she thinks of. We could do a look back at Deno Coil, which she loved voicing. She voiced like multiple characters in it.
Deno Coil.
Yeah,
I remember.
We got it over here, but it wasn't broadcast over here. So Madman released it on Blu-rays and DVDs and all that. If you do want to watch Devil is a Part-Timer, I believe it's on Crunchyroll at the moment here in Australia. International, I think it kind of varies from place to place. Now, the series is really quite good. It's got a lot of character growth and interaction, and at least from the beginning of season 1 to the end of it, the characters aren't the same. Like, they grow, they evolve.
Yeah, and there's good pacing to it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get your overpowered fight scenes and stuff, but there's also just the chill moments of, the interaction between these weirdos.
Yeah.
As they talk about how they're going to destroy each other's armies whilst they're just standing in the middle of Tokyo streets and all the people around them are just staring them down.
And the police officer like, okay, you can practice your acting monologues or whatever you're doing another time. This isn't really the time. People are going to think you're a bit sus.
Well, they all bring something different to the table, and no matter what they add, it stays balanced.
It does.
Because that's the best part about that. Each one of them is like a fantasy archetype.
And it kind of like breaks them out of that as well, because then they're exploring different things and then they realize their personalities aren't just what's been thrown upon them, these like stereotypes that they've been put in by the author as well. And they kind of slowly break out of that as well.
So for us in Australia, for some reason, it's still listing it on Anime Lab, which is completely defunct.
Love that.
Oh, miss Anime Lab.
R.I.P.
Moment of silence.
So it's on Funimation globally, which means that is then being transitioned to Crunchyroll globally. In America and Canada, you can catch it on Netflix. As well for some reason, and Tubi TV. I don't know what Tubi TV is. Maybe some of our American
Teletubbies?
Not Tubi.
It's exclusively if you bought one of the Teletubby TV
You can watch
sets.
it on the
Watch it on the belly.
I still can't believe the son has a kid now.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel old now.
The girl who played the son now has a kid.
I'm old.
Yeah.
Back in my day.
Yeah, back in my day,
The son was a baby.
Back in my day, the son was a baby, and we watched a show about a man looking after a trapdoor.
Oh, man.
Also, Devil is a Part-Time, I can confirm, on Crunchyroll in Australia. So it should be one of the series which was transitioned during that phase a couple of months back by the looks of it. So yeah, definitely go and check it out. If you're interested in seeing the second season, there's a pretty...
decent chance that it's going to be on Disney Plus.
I'm going to wager a bet that it's going to be on Disney Plus.
Kawaii-Fi bets.
I will bet one Pocky.
As in a single Pocky or like a packet of Pocky?
Kawaii-Fi TAB.
Have you seen how much Pocky I have left after HoshiCon?
That sounds about right.
I might crack it out after this, actually. It's like,
cracking a cold Pocky with the boys.
And with that, let's get stuck into the anime news.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
Tonight on Anime Communique.
Great story, compelling and rich.
Nothing brings ratings up like a little controversy.
Cracking a cold Pocky.
With the boys.
With the boys.
And Tifa.
And Tifa.
I can be a boy.
Honorary
if you want me to be.
Lads
She
and
has the
ladettes. Now, as always, plenty going on in the world of anime news this past fortnight. We have two massive ones. We're just going to go in sequential order backwards because that's fair. So first things first, Vinland Saga Season 2. It's arriving January 2023. It is now going to be at Mappa instead of WIT Studios. Twin Engine are still the production house. They're the guys on the motorbikes at the beginning of every video, and then it comes up with someone else, and you're like, who are you? So it looks really good.
Yes.
It looks stupidly
It does,
good.
yeah.
Trailer
looks really
footage
nice.
is so pretty. I want to know about all these people.
And interestingly, the whole staff from WIT Studios who were involved in the Vinland production have moved with it to Mappa. Same director, same animator head, same character designer, the whole lot.
Wicked.
So
That's really
I
nice.
do wonder if they were hired exclusively for Vinland
Yeah.
Saga and then were like freelance generally and moved on. So yeah, it says the first season staff will return for the second season at Mappa instead of WIT. Yabuto Shuhei is returning to direct the anime. Seko Hiroshi, who did Banana Fish and Arjun, will supervise the script and write them, who was also from the last one. Hunter x Hunter's animation director is which is Abiru Takahiko, returning for designing the characters, and Yamada Yutaka is again composing the music. So all-star cast. Yamada did Tokyo Ghoul. That one's evidently not very important, and neither is that one.
You know Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah.
Like just Tokyo Ghoul. It's good. Yeah.
Ooh, I am... Of all the things I'm like really anticipating about it is I want to know what the OP sounds like. The last two for it have been absolute bangers.
Okay, but I just wanted... I forgot I wanted to say this. Back with Bleach, I hope they get Orange Range back in.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
What's Orange Range?
Orange Range, they did Asterisk.
The song...
The band.
original
Yes,
yeah.
right. I'm sitting there going, is that like a handle for an animator or something? Like,
Monkey Punch.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Now, first season premiered July 2019, so it is going to be 3.5 years since season 1 came out. Now that went Amazon Prime Video International, and the dub went through Sentai Filmworks, i.e. High Dive. So that is out and about. It's worth watching. I love this series so much.
I rank this personally as like really, really highly.
Top 10?
Oh, definitely.
Top 5.
I don't know. I don't choose between my children at that point.
That's
How
fair.
many children do you have?
703.
Oh, so like 693 can go get screwed.
Yes, they're just not good. Now, the other massive news from this fortnight, it was so massive that me and Tifa were like, should we do a video on this? Berserk's manga is continuing, and Koji Mori, who helped write the original story for like the plan that Kentaro came up with, is actually supervising it. He knows how it's meant to end. He helped write how it's meant to end.
I take it everyone here read the letter that preceded this?
That was heartfelt. A very heartfelt letter. And
really
it's
was.
on our social medias. Go check it out. There's a letter from his assistants and one from Mori as well. So basically, they're going to continue beginning with the 13th issue of Young Animal. That's June 24th this month. The manga will first have 6 chapters just to finish up the Fantasia arc, Elf Island chapters. And then they're going to begin a new arc afterward. We're not sure if they're going to run right through or if they're going to follow the process and do these 6 and then start planning out the next one and go from there. So there's a lot of stuff that they found around the office that they're like, wow, this is related to future stuff which we can use as reference material. This isn't, but it's really cool, but we're going to stick to his plan. We're not going to change it. We're not going to rewrite the characters or write people out we don't like. We're going to follow exactly in his memory.
I had a good scroll through underneath that letter explaining the whole situation, and the Berserk fan base is just extremely passionate.
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
A lot of people...
Berserk.
But it was
You
also,
might say they are.
It was also quite divisive as well. It's like
Yeah,
a
it
lot of people
was.
are like, they have trepidation. They feel like, should we even continue? Am I even going to read this if you put it out there?
What would he want?
That's the big thing.
I think that's the other thing, like, as well, right? So a lot of people are like, well, if they don't continue it, that's perfectly fine, right? But he did have a plan, and the assistants themselves I think they would have struggled so much more than the fans would have, of whether or
Absolutely.
not to actually continue this. And like they said in the letter as well, they said they're not adding anything extra to any of it. They're gonna do it basically how he had planned it. They're not adding on anything else, even though some parts might not line up as great as it would have if he was obviously writing it. They don't want to do any guesswork at assuming what other bits they can add in. They want to they're only doing this to finish off something that he started that he probably would have wanted to finish.
Yeah, I'll need to look up the letter again, but they said that basically their ethos for everything they do for it is going to be it's what he would have wanted.
Yeah.
See, one of the interesting things, so Studio Gaga is the manga production house who they've been working through for this, and they've offered to continue the manga as well. So everything's been lined up before they've made this announcement. Mori noted he discussed the ending of Berserk with Miura since the manga's iconic Eclipse event 30 years ago. After he passed, he thought about discussing the ending through an interview or through some illustrations with an accompanying article, but deemed those methods as insufficient. He welcomed Studio Gaga's offer to continue the manga and promised to record the details as much as possible and tell the story, assuring readers that while the telling will be imperfect, he believes he can almost tell the story that Miura wanted to tell. So that's, it's a big thing to put yourself forward and do that, and clearly there's been a lot of discussion since his passing to,
It's a really tough thing. I started reading the manga not too long ago to catch up to see just what was it that was driving these people so much with this manga, and oh boy.
Yeah, the artwork's phenomenal.
That guy was scratching against the void.
So beautiful.
Does the sword have a name?
Oh, the giant lump of steel buster sword? I don't actually know. I haven't got that
Can we
far
just
yet.
call it Wackus Bonkers?
Is that what you've been thinking about this entire time?
It's like he's been silently coming up with a name for the sword.
But it's so sad. This is so beautiful. And you're like,
Wackus
Bonkers.
I only just found that on Elden Ring as well.
So both Mori and the Young Animal editing department promised not to deviate from Mr. Miura's own words. So the 41st volume of Berserk, which includes the final chapters Miura created for the series, shipped in December last year. Dark Horse Comics will publish the volume this coming November. So, a bit of a gap there, but obviously they want to make sure they do it right, it's nice to see not just the Japanese parts of the group doing it correctly, but also the Western translation groups as well.
I was thinking of actually buying the big manga omnibuses for it.
That Shumi have on the shelf?
Yeah, but if I started,
huge.
I'd have to finish buying it.
I know.
That is
They are
true.
huge. They
I
are
know.
many.
They're so
They are
beautiful, though,
expensive.
all together.
Well, you've seen I've started with Vinland Saga. I've got the first 6, and we're up to 15 now, and they're all big like that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Where do I
doing
get
this-
shelves that big?
Yeah.
IKEA.
Yep.
They have the extra add-ons for the top as well.
Oh, yeah.
I
Get
have
one
to
of
start
those
nailing
cool,
them to the ceiling.
Get those cool bookend things with half a character on either side.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're being cut in half.
Deadpool's great for it.
That is
Deadpool.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually
Think
true.
about it.
No, you get Guts from Berserk sort of ramming his sword through one side of the book.
And then the other stick out the other side.
Size as actually shown.
You can have the other guy who...
The Griffith?
Pointing at the sword on the other side, grinning stupidly. So, let's
Or
move on.
Sephiroth looking impotently at the size of his own. Just goes, oh.
So when Berserk does come back, we will obviously let you guys know over on our socials, but very exciting news. And if you haven't read it, check it out. It is high impact in some aspects, but it is
gory, it's
beautiful.
bloody,
Some
it's...
aspects.
Look, it's not always like that. You can't say it's non-stop that.
Sure.
So
There's a lot
They have
of
a
it.
cute water fight scene.
they do. All right, Konosuba. 3rd season. Now, last time we recorded our episode, we did it early because we'd all had a lot on, and literally the day after we recorded, this got announced.
Yay.
So, Konosuba Anime confirms its 3rd season and an anime adapting Explosions on This Wonderful World, the prequel spin-off series about Megaman, coming at New Studio Drive.
Oh, yeah.
You might remember it was, I think, previously JC staff, and then they moved to the other one.
Mappa? No.
Dean?
Dean.
They were at Dean, moved to JC staff. JC staff said they'd do the film and then they'd do an additional project, and nothing happened.
Oh, yeah.
And it's been ages. It's actually
It has been so long.
quite a while
Screw
since
them.
that announcement was made. I'm thinking they got sick of it because the light novel series for Konosuba is finished. Its 2 spin-off light novels are finished. So, yeah, nah. Now, it's going to have a full returning cast, which fantastically means Rie Takahashi is going to be Megumin again, which makes me very happy because I think she's an incredible voice actress.
Pretty sure she hasn't stopped working.
She never stops
at
working.
all.
Such a machine.
Even when she's just at rest and chilling out, she's podcasting that she's at rest and chilling out.
Yeah, I know. Or doing like a TV spot. Like what? So the director for the new series is Abe Yujiro. He's the episode director for Kaguya-sama Lovers War and for Great Pretender, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
Uzo Matoko is again in charge of series composition, and Kikuta Koichi is returning as character designer. So there's going to be consistent look over it, and maybe we'll just have even more gag comedy, which will be fantastic. Studio Drive, you probably haven't heard too much about. They did Actors Songs Connection, which was very poorly received. No, we didn't even cover it because it looked that bad.
I didn't even hear about this one.
Drive helped on Love Alternative's anime production for episode 4, and Rinshin Echo-chan stuff. I don't know what that is. That's under them. Teppen with lots of exclamation marks. But I think the important thing is that have helped out on a lot of other big stories. So Demon Slayer Entertainment District arc, Mugen Train arc, Fate Grand Order, Absolute Demonic Battlefront, Babylonia Special, Fate Grand Order, Absolute Demonic Front, Babylonia, the TV series.
That was only half of the title, man.
I know.
More words.
They also were in between animations on My Dress Up Darling, in between animations on Ranking of Kings. That time I was reincarnated as a slime as production assistants. Episode 32 of season 2 and episode 41 and 41 of season 3. So they kind of been like one of those groups that gets pulled in for stuff. They are, these are the other 3 ones they did. They have been tapped for To Your Eternity season 2 as head production house. And they've done Uzumaki and Vlad Love as well as their own in-house ones. So they're not massively well known, but they do have some credentials that suggest
industry chops,
they probably should be able to do this. So I'm quite excited to see how they handle that. Now, Shadow's House, also getting a second season. That premieres July 8th. Dragon Ball Super Hero. We've got confirmation that is now heading to international cinemas from August.
Okay, so it's not just North America?
They've said August worldwide. Every region's going to have a different date.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Now, it's going to come with both sub and dub at the same time for international release.
That's good.
So if they're going to get it in August in America, I imagine that means we'll probably get it here very shortly after.
Sometimes we get it before as well.
Yeah.
We do. It does happen. On a complete random side note, do you remember Cyberpunk?
Yes.
2077?
Yes.
Well,
I
there's
read
that Cyberpunk anime is finally showing up.
That was announced.
Are they getting Keanu in?
No.
I think he would love to be in an anime.
Lack of
actually,
But do you want to know what's really cool? It's been done by Studio Trigger.
Yes, I did see that. I was like, this is going to look
It's
really
gonna
nice.
look
It's just going to
schmick
look so
as
good.
hell.
Yeah.
Pretty bonkers.
So Cyberpunk Edge Runners, it's going to land on Netflix in September. It's probably going to be more complete than the game was when it released. So, I think that could be quite good as well. Star Wars Visions, the Elder director, and Quadruple S Dinah Zenon creative director penned the scripts for it. So I think there's a lot to be hopeful for, but just like with the game, I'm going to hold my opinion until we get our hands on it.
Okay, so we've got to wait for a few patches before we can watch the anime.
Yeah, so we need 3 episode rule, 3 patches. They have announced quite a few interesting stuff. Oh, I missed this. Okay, this could be phenomenal. Imiyashi Hiroyuki, Gurren Lagann Kill la Kill Pro Mare is directing the anime.
Yes!
All right.
I did hear that.
Yoshinari Yo, Little Witch Academia, Brand New Animal, is the character designer and animation director. New announcements. Wakabayashi Hiromi, Kill la Kill Pro Mare, creative director. Otsuka Masahito, Star Wars Visions The Elder, and Usa Yoshiki from Gridman and Dinah Zenon are the scriptwriters. Kaneko Hiroyuki is the assistant director. Don't know who they're from. And there's other people who are character designers who I don't know either. But the Silent Hill music composer is the sound composer, Yamaoka Akira.
Okay.
This has a lot of big people attached to it. I mean, they're all at, Studio Trigger, but the fact that they're all teamed up on this...
I just want one scene where it slowly scopes up the main character and you see all the gears and stuff turning and the prosthetics and stuff as like they're stretching a bit and like it does all the close-ups and like that beautiful smooth transition.
I feel like the colour
this
for
is the
this is gonna be
teaser.
good.
I don't know how well we'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
It definitely, the trailer looks very much in the style of Trigger, very Kill la Kill-esque in some of the colour palettes and the way they've done the shading.
Kind of Summer Warsy.
Yeah, actually, it does have a bit of Summer Wars to it as well. The nighttime, how they're making Night City looks really cool. Like
a touch of Ghost in a Shell, but that's inescapable in a cyberpunk anime.
Yeah, it is. But why are you on the moon, man?
Very smooth. Very smooth
just
animation.
Visually looks really good.
Get dunked on.
Okay, if this is good story-wise, because like just
That's the
based
only
on
worry.
this, like animation-wise, this isn't
Yeah.
going to be a problem.
Yeah.
It's going to be whether or not the story's good. So yeah, look, I think when that comes out, I think that's an episode straight away.
Pretty hyped,
Can
actually.
we get
Yeah.
Can we get a musical parody called Cyberfunk?
That probably exists in some form.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's too good a gem to not do.
I got to introduce my Warframe crew to a, Electro Swing not long ago.
Oh,
and now it's all that they
Electro
play.
To the point that it's gotten annoying to you.
Kind of no. It really, really fits the whole, like, it fits Warframe so well.
Fair
Strangely enough.
All right. Well, that's it for the news. There's plenty of other things we can talk about. Like, for some reason, Zom 100 is apparently getting a live-action film instead of anime.
What?
Yeah, I know. So, Zombie Apocalypse.
Well, there is the new season of Alice in Borderlands coming out soon as well.
Oh, yeah. Now, that's based on a manga. If you haven't watched it on Netflix, it's actually one of the best live actions I've ever seen.
So good.
It has no right.
I'm so excited.
Whatever happened to the live action of the School Live Club one? Do you guys remember
Still in
that?
production.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think it was a COVID thing. Hang on.
Yeah, I believe
School
so.
live action.
Because there was controversy about
Yeah.
that surrounding a very important detail. Cabbages.
Yes,
Yes, the cabbages looked incorrect.
Incorrect. I love that.
Okay. It's been finished.
Oh.
So, it was released by Universal Pictures and Regents in Japan in 2019.
Oh.
It then received a Sentai Filmworks distribution in the US, Canada, UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Latin America, Nordic countries, Netherlands, Spain, and Portugal in 2021. So they pretty much hit up every market that they have a distribution point in.
Okay, just terrible advertising then?
I don't think it got. It's Matt Schley from Japan Times gave the film a negative review and 1.5 out of 5 stars, citing being aggressively boring, in fact, is the greatest sin of School Live. The principle that each scene of a film should push the story forward is discarded with abandon.
Ouch.
So,
Oh, damn.
Should we watch that for next episode?
No.
Terrible live action episode.
Oh,
I mean, we haven't done one in a while.
Last one was Death Note.
Last one was Death
Oh, dear Lord.
oh, I want to hear your review about it later.
I've actually seen it several times.
Oh, you're in the boat with Aaron. No.
Especially
masochists.
because I remember when they were announcing this, and I remember Nat Wolff saying he was a fan of Death Note I think 2 years beforehand, and I was like, no, he's gonna try and get it. He's gonna try and get this role, and somehow he will get it, because it was about the time that Paper Towns and all those John Green things came out, so he was getting popular and he got it, and I think it kind of ruined his career. No offense, Nat Wolff, but yeah, it was not great. But I do think that the guy that played L wasn't a bad actor. It just wasn't written very well.
Well, the script
L
was
wasn't written as
awful.
L.
Wrong person for the product.
Yeah.
Well, they just went, what if L was American?
They just did that with the whole movie. It was all
I know.
localized.
Yeah.
What they could have done instead of being like, oh, we're doing a Death Note live action that's Americanized or whatever, they could have used the Death Note and had it be different characters.
Make it a sequel.
Yeah.
Or make it a side story that happened at a different time. Ryuk didn't drop this note, someone else did. Because
Yeah,
they
'cause
thought
that
it was
does
funny
happen.
after seeing what happened
Yeah.
to Ryuk.
They did do a sequel.
Yeah,
There
the
is a
short
live.
story.
No, the live
yeah.
action.
Oh, yes, the
The
L
Japanese
Saved the
live
World.
action?
No, after
Oh, which
that.
one? After that? Oh,
There's
okay.
The one with
Three-
the Newt mask.
There's 3 live actions.
Yes,
and,
I own all of them on DVD.
Isn't there 4? I thought there was 4.
There's 3 main ones.
Yeah, because there was the 2 that cover the main story, and then there was the one about L.
Yeah, L.
And then there's the one about Light and Misa's kid.
Oh, yeah, but that doesn't really count in the, like, main
No,
scene
but that's
of
the
things,
one I'm
but
talking
yeah,
about.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
yeah.
that one's like... I actually went to see that in cinemas with my family, and I apologized to them afterwards.
Death Note, the last name?
No, that was
No,
that was
isn't
the
it
Change the
second
world.
one?
Death
No.
Note, New Generation, or
I think it's
Light Up the New World?
Light Up the New World, that's the
Yeah.
one.
That's the one. It's been 10 years since the confrontation between L and Light once again. Shin Megami bring Death Notes to the ground. That's what they should have adapted for Netflix's
They
version.
probably
So,
could have, yeah, it
yeah.
would have worked, actually.
Yeah.
So who was the
They
villain
could
in
have
that?
complicated. But they could have set it up as Light and Misa sent their kid to the West.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have done that. Yeah.
Yeah, and
well,
then-
it's like because they did do that one shot, right? Them
yeah.
one shot manga, and that was really good. Netflix could have very easily done something like that. Like this guy Ryuk just decides, well, I kind of want some more
Bored
apples.
again.
I'm a bit bored, so why don't I drop it in a different country and see what happens? And then this kid who was just like kind of really smart about it and stuff started a bidding war over it, and Donald Trump gets involved, and that would have been a very interesting kind of way to go with it, right? Because you could kind of get political with Netflix and like America,
this is
right?
true.
Instead of making it like using the same, like what? Who's gonna name their kid Light in America? Like,
I mean, look, you've seen celebrities, right?
yes, but like,
Well, no, what did Elon Musk name his child?
Oh, Kiel.
Yeah, but it's like the combination.
AEX, whatever they
Yeah,
call him.
it's
They
the-
call him.
The
and
SR-71
then the
Blackbird,
AE,
and then
and then
some
the-
jet thing.
like
A
13 or
negative
something.
13
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Celebrities.
Yeah.
So his name's Kyle.
Yeah. Oh, hey!
Hey!
So you got that sweet inheritance.
I wish.
Something you're not telling us.
Yeah, look, I've got a lot of Musk, but I'm not related to him, so. All right, and with that, we should probably wrap up.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
So, Kenny just basically died there ever so slightly, which is, yeah.
It happens.
It happens. No, that is where we're going to leave things for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Next time, do we go horrible live action or do we go film?
Why don't you decide in the comments?
No. Because then it'll get too close to the date and we won't have done what we need to do.
That is true.
Yeah. All right. I'll make an executive call. We're going to do Steam Boy next episode.
Okay.
We just discovered that Akira is coming back to our local cinema as a double feature. Steam Boy was done by the same guy who created Akira. We might as well have a look at it. It has been 18 years since its release. So,
It can go drinking.
yeah.
Goodbye.
Just
Not in
not in Japan. Or America.
Oh, I could go some yuzu sake. Sorry.
Yeah, suck it.
There's a
I
place
have
near
some
mine.
of that at home.
Oh, no.
I should have brought it over.
Oh, no. Now, if you have enjoyed what you've heard, dear God, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. Join us for future episodes. If you are listening over on YouTube, hit that like button too. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section as well. On the note of YouTube, we create monthly anime-focused videos on our channel, so you can find the links in the episode description and check them out. Now,
You get to see one of our pretty faces.
if you would like to know the wonderful story about how Tifa's mum has actually watched all of Devil is a Part-Timer and then consumed the novel as well, you might want to join our Patreon.
Some very interesting
We talk
stories.
about a lot
That's
of
an interesting
stuff.
selling point.
And for embarrassing childhood stories about Tifa as well.
No, don't say that.
So join our Patreon. We have extra content on there, such as episode outtakes, video extras, and the pre-show of the podcast. So if you can afford to support us, it'd be greatly appreciated. And obviously, social medias, go do the memes and stuff like that over on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, and now we're on the Tiki-Toki.
With Kadolaha.
No.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know
Tick-tock,
Kadolaha?
make it stop.
Kesha.
It's Kadolaha.
It's Kesha.
So we are now on TikTok. I don't know when the videos will be going up. They'll be interfrastically. Now, I don't know where I'm going with that. Clearly,
We're going
Anytime something happens in the anime world, there might just be a TikTok
may be
video.
a thing. Maybe a thing. It might be me in my car. It might be Aaron explaining fate.
Yes. Fate.
I don't think you can do that in just one TikTok.
Well,
No, but
TikTok
we're
did
gonna
just
do
up your
lots.
limit to 10 minutes.
That's true. You could do them in parts, get everyone to keep going across.
Yeah, no, I don't.
We can make a
like
fake
that idea.
playlist.
That's true, you could.
Can you make playlists
You
on
can
TikTok?
make playlists on TikTok.
Yeah.
All right, I reckon we're going to have to do this.
I think
and
it's
then
gonna
one for
happen.
Kingdom Hearts
Great.
afterwards.
Okay.
I need someone to explain that to me
I
as
can do
well.
that. Actually, I know someone
In
who can
cosplay.
help with that. We can get in the dry guy.
We should get the dry guy in.
He knows his Kingdom Hearts quite
He knows
well.
his Kingdom Hearts quite well. Was there a Kingdom Hearts anime?
There was a manga.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think there kind of was, but it wasn't really an anime.
As in, like, it was
Like
a
it was
Western
like
production?
short. Yeah, it was just like a little thing. But
I
it
remember
wasn't
there
really
being a
kinda
manga
like
for the Game Boy.
Chain of Memories,
Yeah,
yes.
Well, I
The
do.
worst game.
Was it?
Yes.
Terrible.
You had to shuffle a deck of cards with one hand while fighting enemies with a keyblade with the other.
That is... Okay.
Surprising that wasn't on the Wii.
We're going to leave that there. You've been listening to Kawaii-Fi Radio. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, watch some anime! I've got tiger blood.
Calm down, Charlie Sheen.